Is it cold in here, or is it just today's magical story? Hey there, tiny heroes. Welcome to Simple Stories Smart Kids, where fairies fly, reindeer talk, and queens, well, they freeze stuff. Grab your mittens and your giggles because it's time for a chilly, silly fairy tale adventure. Say hello to the Snow Queen. Once upon a time, in a land where winter never seemed to end, there lived a rather peculiar lady known as the Snow Queen. Now, before you picture a stern, icy woman with a crown made of frozen icicles and a heart as cold as a popsicle left out in the snow, let me tell you, she was a bit more complicated than that. Sure, she had a castle made entirely of ice, complete with frosty chandeliers and a throne that could give anyone frostbite just by sitting on it. But she also had a knack for mischief and a sense of humor that could melt the iciest of hearts. The Snow Queen loved to throw the most extravagant winter parties. Her castle was the place to be if you wanted to show off your best snowball throwing skills or your ability to build the tallest snowman. She'd invite all the creatures of the forest, from the sassy squirrels to the wise old owls, and even the shy little rabbits, who were always trying to hide behind the snowdrifts. The only rule was that everyone had to wear at least 3 layers of snow gear, or they'd be turned into a snowman for the duration of the party. No one wanted that, especially not the rabbits, who were much too fluffy to be turned into snowmen in the first place. One fine winter morning, as the sun peeked through the clouds and glimmered on the snow like a million tiny diamonds, the Snow Queen decided it was time to throw her biggest party yet. She summoned her magical ice fairies, who floated around her like little snowflakes, each carrying a tiny clipboard and a quill made of icicles. "All right, my frosty friends," she said, her voice as cheerful as a snowman with a carrot nose. "We need to plan the best winter bash this kingdom has ever seen. I want snowball fights, ice skating, and of course, the most delicious hot chocolate anyone has ever tasted. No marshmallows allowed, they're too squishy." The ice fairies nodded eagerly, their wings sparkling like freshly fallen snow. They dashed off to spread the word about the party, flitting through the trees and over the hills, whispering in the ears of every woodland creature they could find. Soon enough, the news reached a little girl named Gerda, who lived in a cozy cottage on the edge of the forest with her best friend, a boy named Kai. Now Gerda was no ordinary girl. She had a heart as warm as a freshly baked cookie, and she loved adventures almost as much as she loved her flower garden. Kai, on the other hand, was a bit of a daydreamer. He often got lost in his thoughts, especially when it came to the Snow Queen and her magical castle. He would stare out the window, imagining what it would be like to slide down her ice slides or to have a snowball fight with the Queen herself. But Gerda, being the practical one, would always pull him back to reality with a gentle nudge. "Come on, Kai. We have flowers to tend to and stories to share." But when Gerda heard about the Snow Queen's party, her eyes sparkled with excitement. "We have to go, Kai. It'll be so much fun. Imagine all the snow and the games." Kai, however, was a little hesitant. "What if the Snow Queen turns me into a snowman?" he worried, his imagination running wild. "What if I get stuck in the ice forever?" Gerda laughed, her giggles ringing like tiny bells. "Don't be silly. She only turns people into snowmen if they don't wear enough layers. Just bundle up and we'll be fine." So, with a little bit of persuasion and a lot of bundled up layers, Gerda wore a pink coat that looked like it had been made from a cotton candy cloud, while Kai looked like a walking marshmallow. They set off on their adventure to the Snow Queen's castle. As they trekked through the snowy landscape, they made snow angels, built snowmen that looked suspiciously like their neighbors, and even had a snowball fight that left them both laughing and covered in snow. When they finally reached the castle, it was even more magnificent than they had imagined. The walls sparkled like diamonds, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of hot chocolate wafting from the castle's kitchen. They stepped inside, shaking off the snow from their boots and marveling at the grand hall, which was adorned with twinkling icicles and frosty decorations that seemed to twirl and dance in the chilly air. The Snow Queen herself was waiting for them, her frosty blue gown swirling around her like a snowstorm. "Welcome, welcome!" she exclaimed, her eyes twinkling with mischief. "I hope you're ready for the most spectacular winter party of your lives." Gerda and Kai exchanged excited glances, their worries melting away like the snow under the warm sun. The party was a whirlwind of laughter and joy. There were ice skating races that turned into hilarious tumbles, snowball fights that ended with everyone covered in snow, and even a contest for the best snowman. Gerda, with her creative flair, built a snowman that looked remarkably like the Snow Queen herself, complete with a crown made of icicles and a cheeky grin. The Snow Queen burst into laughter when she saw it. "Oh, my dear Gerda, you've captured my good side perfectly," she joked, striking a pose next to the snowman. As the night wore on, the Snow Queen decided it was time for the grand finale, a magical ice show. She waved her hands, and suddenly, the entire hall transformed into a shimmering ice rink. The ice fairies twirled and danced, creating beautiful patterns in the air, while the creatures of the forest cheered and clapped. Gerda and Kai joined in, trying to mimic the graceful movements of the fairies, but they ended up slipping and sliding all over the place, much to everyone's amusement. "Look at them go!" The Snow Queen laughed, her laughter echoing through the hall. "They're like two penguins trying to learn how to fly." Gerda and Kai giggled, their cheeks flushed with joy and a hint of embarrassment. They didn't care, though. They were having the time of their lives. But then, just as the fun seemed endless, something unexpected happened. A gust of wind blew through the hall, and suddenly the mood shifted. The Snow Queen's expression changed, and her eyes narrowed. "Oh dear," she said, her voice suddenly serious. "It seems we have a little trouble brewing." Before anyone could react, a mischievous little snow goblin popped out from behind a snowdrift, cackling with glee. "I've come to steal the fun!" he squeaked, his tiny hands rubbing together in delight. "No more parties for you, Snow Queen!" The guests gasped, and the Snow Queen frowned. "Not on my watch," she declared, her icy demeanor returning. With a flick of her wrist, she conjured a flurry of snowflakes that swirled around the goblin, who squeaked in surprise. "Oh no, not the snowflakes! Anything but that!" he cried, dancing around in a panic. But the Snow Queen was quick, and with a wink, she sent the goblin tumbling into a pile of snow, where he got stuck, flailing his little arms in defeat. The guests erupted into laughter, and even the Snow Queen couldn't help but chuckle. "Well, that's one way to deal with trouble," she said, her eyes sparkling with mischief once more. Gerda and Kai joined in the laughter, feeling a sense of camaraderie with all the creatures around them. As the party continued, Gerda and Kai realized that the Snow Queen wasn't just a ruler of winter. She was also a friend who loved to have fun. They danced, played games, and drank hot chocolate that was so rich and creamy it practically sang songs of joy. The night was filled with laughter, and as the stars twinkled outside, the Snow Queen announced that every year she would host a winter party just like this one. When the time finally came for Gerda and Kai to leave, they were filled with warmth and happiness. "Thank you for the best night ever," Gerda exclaimed, hugging the Snow Queen tightly. "We'll be back next year, right, Kai?" Kai nodded enthusiastically, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "Definitely! I can't wait to build another snowman that looks like you." The Snow Queen waved goodbye, her heart feeling just a little warmer than usual. "Until next time, my frosty friends, remember, winter is always more fun with a little laughter." And as Gerda and Kai made their way back home, they couldn't help but giggle at the memories they had created, knowing that they would cherish this night forever. And so, in a land where winter never seemed to end, the Snow Queen continued to throw her legendary parties, filling the hearts of everyone with joy, laughter, and a sprinkle of magic. Because sometimes, even the coldest of hearts can be warmed by the simplest of joys. And who knew? Maybe next year, the little snow goblin would learn to behave and join in on the fun, too. So, what did we learn from this snowy adventure? True friendship can melt even the coldest hearts. Never follow a stranger into an ice palace. And always wear warm socks. Always. If you loved Gerda's brave journey and all the silly twists, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Simple Stories, Smart Kids, and join us next time for more magical giggles and tales. Bye-bye, little snowflakes.